sorry, this is going to be a little shaky. I'm in a really weird position. I'm at a hotel and I wasn't able to bring my my stand with me. And yeah, so sorry about that. I got this at arm's length, so I look kind of big. But I want to talk to you about abundance and the Old Testament of the Bible. I know a lot of people who think, well, I'm religious, so I have to give all any money I have away. I need to be poor. I need to be just above poverty level to show that I am serious about being a Christian. No, 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 no. That is so wrong. If you go back to Genesis, when Abraham's father, I think his name was Turin, I can't remember exactly. Um, Now he had three sons that are mentioned in the Bible, and one of them's Abraham. But he also had he was married more than once, because Sarah, Abraham's wife, was Abraham's half sister by another woman. So when Turin and Abraham and Sarah and left, they also took a nephew with them. They also took, I guess, one of Abraham's brothers died fairly young, and so they took his son with them when they left Ur. Now, Abraham's father was a fairly wealthy man. He was well up there, and so people are like, oh, yeah. So Abraham inherited the wealth. No, no, no. Think about it. Let's say you die with $1 million. You're worth $1 million. Well, and you have 10 kids, and you would think, oh, each kid would get $100,000. Not a fortune. Um, but if the spouse is still alive, the spouse gets money too, so the kids get less than 100,000. And then of course you always have another relative out there who is like, I'm supposed to get a part of that, and I'm supposed to get more. I'm the oldest child and stuff like that. So then you end up spending money on lawyers, so you really don't inherit a whole lot, unfortunately. Um, so nowadays most people don't have that many kids, so it's not that big of a problem. But back in the Old Testament, they did have lots of kids because the mortality rate was really high. So even though Turin, I hope that's his name, was wealthy, they had to keep working. I mean, they had their flocks, and they traveled quite a ways until they stopped. But they had to grow their wealth. They had to trade and to build things up. Um, they didn't work 24/7. They also owned slaves, and in order to own slaves, you have to money. So when Abraham's father died and Abraham and Sarah left, and they took their nephew with them, and they went towards Egypt, Abraham had a bit of wealth. He wasn't a poor man, he wasn't a young man, so he had been able to build up some of his own money. But along the way, God promised he would make Abraham wealthy and that he would be a father of nations and all that stuff. So when they were in Egypt, Abraham really became wealthy because the Pharaoh took a fancy to Sarah, who is Abraham's wife, but also his half sister. And I guess she was supposed to be very beautiful. And so Abraham said, well, just say you're my sister, because otherwise they'll kill me, take everything I have and you. So, she was like, oh, yeah, no. So they didn't lie when they told him that they were brother and sister, because they were half brother and sister. But Pharaoh liked her so much that he gave Abraham choice cattle and sheep and whatever he had, and money and position, and Abraham became even wealthier. And then when the Pharaoh found out that Abraham and Sarah was married, he was so embarrassed. He's like, I'm going to pay you to take your family away. So Abraham became much more wealthy. And they didn't really have to work for that wealth. It wasn't like they were purposely stealing or tricking the Pharaoh into giving him stuff. He was just trying to survive. So God came through. He became prosperous. And when they left and went back to kind of like the Canaan region, I guess it is, Abraham and his nephew split because they both had grown their wealth quite a bit along the way. And when Abraham was over 100 years old and Sarah was 100 years old, they had their first child together. Now, Abraham had another earlier son with Sarah's Egyptian handmaiden, Ishmael. But there were other children. Somewhere along the line, and it doesn't say after Sarah died or what, but Abraham actually took another wife and had kids with her. He only had the one with Sarah. But there were other children. So even though Abraham was wealthy and Isaac, being the legitimate firstborn son, was going to get the majority of the wealth, the other kids, Ishmael, God promised Abraham that Ishmael would also prosper and be a mighty nation. So it happened. Ishmael and children became great traders. They traveled like the Silk Road and stuff. So, and Isaac also built up his wealth. And he went and he married and got married. And they had Jacob and Esau. And the story just goes on and on. Each generation were given so much from the previous generation, but they had to come up with their own wealth. And God promised that they would, and he helped them to do it. It's a very interesting read, the different ways that they grew their wealth and became wealthy. Now, that just goes to show that God does not want us to be poor. He does not. So if you think that, oh, it's okay, I'm a good person, I'm a Christian, I don't need to be rich, it's okay if I'm poor, stop it. God wants you to be wealthy. He wants you to be abundant. Now, some people are wealthy in money. Some people are wealthy in friends, good, solid friends. Some people are wealthy in their family relations. Some people are wealthy in their spiritual life. It doesn't just mean money. So you were meant to be abundant. You were meant to live a rich, wonderful life. And you were meant to actually do some work for it too. So, but God does not want any of us to be poor. So, talk to you again soon. I'm going to try to do a video once a week. And may God bless you with peace in your soul. Bye.